I think we're there. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It was a long day today. I was playing mom today, so it's been kind of a crazy day, but I'm here. I'm good. What's up?
We were busy today. We had I don't know if you know Sheena James. She does Sheena's Sweet Stitches, which is a blog.
Talked about her before, but I don't know. I don't know if I know
Good friends with Cheryl Timko, who's all over Needlepoint Nation. She's the sweetest gal. And so Sheena lives in Cleveland, which is like a 2.5 hour drive from here. And so she has some health issues, so she hasn't been many places. And so she called me and said, I'd love to come up. We're just going to come up for the day. And so we're closed shortened hours. So I had her come after we closed. So it was like a little, hopefully safe, secure bubble for her. So she came and it was so fun to meet her because I knew her friend Cheryl because we've taken classes together. And so I felt like I knew her between her blog and my connection with Cheryl. And it was just really, really fun. And
nice. Oh, that's good. Yeah. I'm always sad when I'm not in the shop. I need a little break to recharge, but I'm always sad because truly, it's so fun. It's such a joy to be in the shop and meet people and help people out. So
you want to know the other fun thing I did today?
Yeah. And because, by the way, we haven't talked today, really. I mean, we usually talk our phone call every day. So
this is our little phone call.
We're excited to see each other because we talk every day. But it's nice to see your face, by the way.
You know how I have my obsession with my pretty belt buckle?
Yes, I do. And I know you were looking on Etsy. Did you find one? It looks like it's a flower.
Pretty.
What's is it like a turquoise middle?
They're all just stones. I don't really know what they are. They can't be anything too fancy because it wasn't a fancy price tag. I mean, it wasn't $5, but it wasn't 3 figures. So,
yeah.
I'm so excited when you're, it's one of those slide.
So you'll put grommets in the belt, right?
So how all my belts have the fancy stuff. And you had posted, or your customer had posted that cute gingham belt.
Yes. And he turned his in today.
He did?
So next week I'll have it finished to show. But anyway, go ahead. So yes.
I just got really obsessed by it. So, but I do things backwards. I start with the buckle and then
I'll buy the shoes first and then figure out the outfit.
And I got threads.
Ooh.
Gorgeous. So I'm so excited to get your little gingham chart.
Yeah. So we did chart that. It was a little awkward because it's a diagonal. And it's it's square diagonal. So it ends up not being exactly square. It's kind of funny when you look at it, but so we figured it out how to chart it. And then we've been pulling some threads for people. So yeah, we're happy to do that. Yeah. So I'll send that. It's a complimentary chart. It wasn't my idea. I have to say it was Teddy, who's our customer and also our pillow finisher. So it was his idea. And I helped him pull thread and we got to talking about it. And then, I'm not sure where, I guess did I post that or repost his or something?
He posted it and tagged you in it. And I was like, oh my God, I have to do that. And then I think you and I, or Carrie and Sue Ann and I bullied you into creating kits. So
figuring out how to get it together. Yeah. So it's really pretty. I'll post that, but I can't wait to see yours. So are you stitching it in silk or is that wool or what?
That's vineyard silk. I was going to look at maybe Bella Lusso. I was going to maybe look at essentials. I hadn't quite decided. I did just right before we got on the phone because I just wanted to show you how excited I was about it.
Yay, I love it. You know me, I love to spread the gingham love. I'm not even wearing it each day though. What the heck?
I know. Well, I had to bring it up.
Right. Can't wear it every day. I talk about it every day, but I can't wear it every day. So
good. Well, it's good to see you. I think that the last time at the cottage when we got together, I was shocked at how many people came into my shop and called me and said how much they loved hearing us just chitter chatter about needlepoint. So
yeah, I know. I've had a lot of sweet feedback too. So so we kind of decided that you and I should do this a little more regularly.
Right.
Just shoot the needlepoint breeze, right?
Yeah, because seems like there's always something to say about it. At least
I know.
Well, nobody else around us does, but we do.
So everybody has probably now seen that the title of this episode is Gadgets and Gizmos. And what happened was, if you remember, we were sitting I was sitting in the car in the driveway, finishing a call with you. And we started talking about, I don't know, even know what the impetus was. I was saying, I use this, do you use that, or do you sell that? And we kind of had this whole long conversation about gadgets and gizmos. And so we said, wait a minute, we should go live with this, or at least go public with this conversation.
Because I think that having the right tools for whatever it is that you do in your life, in our case, needlepoint, having the right tools makes the process just so much more joyful. And there's always some little trick that will take the frustration out of whatever it is. So, and some of those tricks are super cheap and some of those tricks are Cadillacs, and there's some things in between. But, you know, there's lots of, like, I show people things all day long that maybe are like $2. They're like, oh, why have I not known about that? And I think you and I discovered things from each other too.
That's right. That's right. So, yeah, so my number one last minute at the counter, it's like, oh my gosh, you have to have this. Do you want me to show you?
Yeah, let's do.
Snag Nabbit.
Oh yeah, we have those too.
This is what the package looks like. I brought it over. Actually, this one's empty because it was.
And the name is just phenomenal.
Snag Nabbit. Nabbit. And I am almost done. I think I showed this when we talked last. I have only just a couple of little bits left. Hello.
Yay, look at that.
But I did all basket weave because, as I said, I needed like
Mindless, relaxing.
Meditation, easy. And I've been doing some scooping. And as you know, with scooping, well, actually, this is going to segue nicely. I'm probably just going to steal the show for a minute because
yeah, go for it.
Actually 3 tools that I used really incessantly on this thing, like over and over, and I was like digging for it. So I try to keep a tool bag with stuff. I usually do canvas.
Uh-huh.
You too. Great mind.
Like you said, we share a lot of information. I think that was your first find, so thank you for that.
Well, no problem. Yeah, so I like to use the canvas. I like to keep all my projects in the clear bags. I don't know why. I guess because I can see them.
Yeah.
I really don't know
right here we go. Like this.
Yeah,
so you know what you're grabbing.
Stack up of clear bag. Yeah, exactly. So so I have down here at my feet like all my clear bags, but I always leave my tools in here because I feel like invariably the scissor will like pierce the vinyl bag, and I don't love leaving my tools in the same place as my needlepoint because, again, it'll stab something or it'll get lost or whatever. So anyway, so tool bag. Yeah. But in my tool bag for this particular piece, I kind of used 3 things. Why don't I just demo them all at the same time because
you go for it.
Them at the same time. So these little things are so funny looking. Like, I'm going to look like such a dork. Okay, by the way, I always get trouble from my friends. I already look like a huge dork because I'm needlepointing, like at the pool and wherever. But I'm going to look even dorkier now, so just get ready.
Do you realize how well they match your nails?
Ooh, yeah, look at that. I went the really bright color at the salon the other day, and I kind of regretted it, but whatever, it's fun. So,
salon.
Is that what you call it? Don't you call it the nail salon? The nail?
I said salon because I'm still not going to get my nails done. I'm doing them myself.
Well, my place is awesome. They have these clear shower curtains between each pedicure wear, and they're all wearing masks, and they're even taking temperatures when you go in, and I don't know, it's very safe to me. So I've decided to.
I'm sure it is. My
thing. It's just my thing. I have to have my nails done. So anyway, sorry to digress. So these are. I brought the package over to show. But these are by Loran, which I think is kind of a standard like sewing notions company.
Oh, I have a Loran item in my bag too.
Nice, good.
So there's 2 sizes of those because
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, so tell us about that.
So these come in small, medium. Excuse me. Yes, is that right? Extra small, and medium, large. Medium.
I can look on my shelf
right here in front of me, medium, large. But I
think you're right. It's small, medium, large.
And then medium, large.
Medium,
that's right.
They have 2 sizes instead of 3.
So once you take them out of the package, you can obviously see which one's the bigger one. Like, it's probably kind of hard for me to show, and mine are kind of mangled right now, but like this one is the bigger one. So I use them on both my thumb. That is funny because it looks like they have little holes, but you can't really tell because my nail polish is the same color.
So do you have smallish hands or do you have bigger hands? You look like you have smaller hands in general.
I think in the world, like among people, I might have smaller hands, but I don't know if that's true or not. I mean,
what do you have, the small medium?
So I have the small medium. I like them to be pretty tight on my fingers, but they also stretch a little bit because they're silicone. And after a long time, you just have to replace them. But they're only $5.50 retail. So
let me ask another dumb question. Do you know what ring size you are?
A 7.
Oh, so actually your hands aren't that tiny. Okay, I'm just trying to, because people call us
7 here, 6 here. Because this, you know how your right hand's usually bigger if your right hand, yeah.
Yeah, so people call us on the phone and they ask me all the time, like, what size silicone thimble should I get? Which size of the Loran sticky fingers?
I never thought about how that would relate to ring size. Aren't you smart? See, we need to have these conversations.
I'm not sure it does. It seems like it should, though.
I mean, I think that's pretty smart, but isn't your index finger small, like bigger than your ring finger? I don't know.
Yeah, but just in general, like if you had a 4 or a 5, you'd have a teeny tiny hand. If you have a 7, you're kind of like a medium. If you have a 9 or a 10, you have bigger hands, you know. So
bingo, got it. Okay, so back to this. So small and medium. The small one goes on your index finger. The medium goes on your thumb. And what I have found with this thing is when I'm pulling, like when I have the needle, can you see the needle? Mm-hmm. So I don't really even need to use the canvas for this, but what happens for me when I use these, so I get a lot of pain in my trigger right here, especially when I'm like actually not as much with scooping, but more for push and pull, like regular push and pull. And it relieves some pressure here because first of all, you don't have to pinch so tight because it really just sort of grabs it like it's grippy, I guess.
Okay.
It gives you just enough of little extra space in there, like because they're kind of like a little bit thick, that I feel like my hand doesn't have to quite like be so like tight on the needle when I'm pulling through. So I usually, how I'm all like geared up here is I'm like a catcher. I've got all my equipment. I usually have all 3 of these things on all at the same time.
I'm sorry.
This is a leather thimble.
You know what you really need is one of those headgears, like, you know, the miner's lights.
Oh, I have it. A headlamp. And when my husband's like, turn off the lights, I want to watch a movie. And I'm like, fine. So then I have my headlamp. I have these. I usually have these.
This is so not tonight, honey. It's unbelievable.
I don't know how I can be, I'm just irresistible when I'm stitching, especially at night. Glasses, headgear. Yeah, I should have done my headgear as my favorite thing. But anyway, back to this, Melissa. Focus. Right. So when I'm scooping, I don't know if I can get this in here, but let's see. Hold on really fast. When I'm scooping, I put my needle in here. This is hard to do like on the camera, but so I use this finger to push it through, and then I grab it with these 2 and pull. Does that make sense? Do I need to do it again?
Yeah. So let me ask you this. We have those little silicone thimbles like you recommended. So are those like kind of, pardon the terms, but is that like the poor man's version of what you're wearing, the leather?
Could be. You know, I have one of those I had that in a different bag because I was using these. But I would use those that silicone on here instead of the leather thimble.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So the leather's like the Cadillac of the silicone one.
I think so. And it's really not even that more. Well, I guess this thing is 1050.
Right.
It comes in sizes too. It's like small, medium, large, I think. I think I have the medium. And honestly, I'm not exactly sure. So we get these from Anne Brinkley, who's just a sweet lady, and I probably should ask her sometime. I know, she's so nice. But I don't know if in theory this it's a little velvet stretchy part. I don't know if that's supposed to be here or if it's supposed to be on the back. But it appears that I'm usually wearing it like this because do you see, like it's all like marred on this side. So I'm usually, and probably because I guess it's this way because then this protects more of your finger.
Right, and then it's bendy because if you had that on the other side, it wouldn't bend as well, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're doing it right.
So, sexy, right here, right there. That's so leather thimble and silicone pullers.
Love it.
And then the Snag Nabbit, which I have here in mine. So the Snag Nabbit, when you're doing, I don't know if you find this, but when you're doing scooping, sometimes your tension isn't as good. So I'm trying to see here. I'm sure that there's some spots. So like here I see, you might not be able to pick this up, but right here, I've got a
bubble almost.
That's like a little bubble. That's a great way to describe it. Yep. And it just needs a little extra help. So this Snag Nabbit is gritty here and smooth down here, and it's pointy here. So it's sharp.
It's a needle without a hole.
Exactly. And well, then they've also routed or whatever they've done to make this almost like a drill bit. So then I put it right in the spot where I want to pull down that little thread, and I just swipe it through, and it's seriously magic.
I know. So Kirsty and I, our finishing manager, and I did a class once, and that was one of our like wow moments. And the other thing that I think it really helps with is, I think newer stitchers have this habit of not trimming their threads super close to the canvas because they're afraid they're going to cut their canvas, which I understand. So then if they're stitched, like little pops of the threads come up, and that'll pull, you can use that to pull those back down too.
Yeah, and you know, I actually, I'm about done with this guy, and I'll actually just kind of like go through it, because sometimes you don't even notice that, I think, and then all of a sudden you're like, there's that little bit of red shred kind of popping up in my green, and then I just use this little guy and fix it. Instead of what I used to do, which I'm sure you too, either I would be using the eye end of my needle, like shushing like the thing, like go back down in there.
If you do it 20 times.
Or I'd rethread a needle and like pull it all the way through to try to grab the thing, and then I'd do it again because it never worked, you know. So I mean, this thing is magical. It's
what is it, like $3 or something?
$3.75.
Okay.
$3.75. And usually people come back and they're like, I lost it, because I will say it's not easy to keep track of. So if it's in your tool, or I often when I'm stitching, I will keep it on my magnet.
I would say I keep, I know you're not a big beater, but, and a lot of people have those magnetic needle cases. I don't have a magnetic needle case, but I have a beading case that has a magnet on the one side. So I keep my side of my beading thing. But if you don't bead a lot, you wouldn't have a beading case to put it in. So.
Are you trying to shame me? I feel like
but sometime we need to talk about beading stuff, but that's another day, not today.
I know. I'm a really good French knotter, and I feel like if I do French knots in Krynic, it's good.
It is good. Half the time I mean, you either like it or you don't, whatever. So
I know, I'm trying.
Snag Nabbit's a huge, huge win for sure.
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you for bringing me back around, because I was just feeling embarrassed about my lack of beading. So, and my earrings twisted up. Okay, so anyway, silicone pullers, leather thimble, sexy night on the couch, and Snag Nabbit is brilliant. So that's great. I stole the show, but it really kind of all worked together. So.
Well, I'll show you my Loran item, since there's something in here. Where is that? Because I call it my Loran needle threader. So
you don't notice that I'm toasting you.
Oh, good job. Thank you. I have nothing as usual. Okay, where to go? It's in here somewhere. So it's one of those things that floats around. Okay, so we all, I think, own a needle threader of some sort. Most of us have this kind, which I love this kind. And I use this kind to thread. I tie it.
Can I ask you a quick question, though? Yeah. Do you ever use the large side of that? Like, even on a size 20 needle, it feels a little too big.
Rarely do I. So I almost feel like I should tie this in this hole, because it'd give me coverage. But
just wondering if I was missing something about that little thing, but that thing is brilliant.
And I don't know if everyone ties them to their scissors, but I tell people all the time, they come two to a pack. This is not even what I'm talking about, but I'm segueing. I'm sorry. Okay. I tell everyone, you can either tie these to your needle, or you cannot, and come back and buy another 2 from me next week. It's up to you.
You mean tie it to your scissor, right?
Tie it to your scissors. Yes.
Just to clarify, I was like,
otherwise people lose these all the time, because these are not magnetic. They don't stick to anything. So I suggest tying to my needles. But there's another needle threader called this Loran. I don't know why it's not focusing. There we go.
Okay, I hate that thing.
Okay, everyone hates this thing.
Use it. I can't. It gets stuck in my eye. I can't. Okay, so help talk me into the hook, because I'm
not going to use this as a regular needle threader. I call this my magic save. This is like the magic. This is like the Snag Nabbit, but for a different like screw up, because there has to be a little tool to fix your screw ups. So
I'm really glad to see you're putting your glasses on too, because
I'm way older than you, sweetheart. So
no, you're not.
I've been working on this guy, as you know. So then I was cruising along, and I wasn't paying attention, and my tail got super short. So see how this tail's
and I'm so practical. I get my tails almost always like that, and then I'm like trying to like push my needle a little bit in there. Yeah.
So
you're
now
about to give me the magic
it's so short, I can't even really thread it very well. And then even once I thread it, it's not long enough. I'm trying to get the best angle. It's not long enough for me to then bury it, right?
That's right. Yeah.
I've just left myself up a creek. So I could unstitch a bunch of stuff, or
why would you do that?
we never want to unstitch if we don't have to. So the alternative is, and again, I'm going to be like you, trying to show people how to do
No,
this.
you're doing a good job. I can see it. Yeah.
So I bury my needle first.
So like as if you were going to bury the thread with.
I'm going to bury my needle unthreaded. So I'm going to do that just on my own view. So now I have, my needle is buried in there. See that?
Yep, I do.
But it's not threaded. Well, how are you going to thread the needle now? Now the needle's flush against the canvas.
Well, so, I could tell you what I would do, but it sounds like you have a better plan.
So my little magic save, you slide your little hooky-doo inside your needle, right?
Yeah.
And now wrap this guy around.
It's kind of like pulling somebody off stage with the hook.
Now wrap that guy around the hook.
Wrap it. So you just put it inside there.
Yep. So now I've threaded my needle. So it's not the greatest needle threader normally, but sorry. Now I over threaded it. There we go. So I
put you on this one
like that. Yank her through.
So you just pull it through, and then it.
Problem solved. Except for I left myself too long. There, all fixed.
That is really smart.
So I don't, like I said, I don't use it for a day-to-day needle threader. It's my magic save. This is like, oh, I botched something. Now I need to fix it.
You know, that's brilliant, because the only way I knew how to fix a tail like that, I had a customer once show me how you do a loop with thread.
Which works as well. Yeah.
And so then you would do exactly what you did, but thread the loop and then put the thing. But that actually is easier, I think, a lot easier. So
and where this also works a lot, and this, I don't know if you have this happen, but I many times will have customers come in with a finished piece, everything's done, and they've left all their little knots around the edges.
Yes, and so
I say, are you sure that those are covered and buried well? And they look at me, they're like, I'm not so sure. So you can cut off all those knots, and if you only have that much left to bury, this is going to
fix them all. That is genius, because we get belts in for finishing like that, and Sweet Jim does not like the knots.
Yeah, so this is I think $1.65, or $1.95, something like that, under $2. So that's one of my favorites.
$2 magic, sign me up.
Okay, so that's a Lorraine item as well. And
so maybe instead of hating on those things now, I will grab one and put it in my toolbox and love on.
I love them. I absolutely love them.
But do you understand what I mean about not being able to use that properly to thread a needle?
I don't like it normally. It's too much.
Like you have to
yeah, there's too much.
Thank you. I just wanted a little validation.
But when you bury it this way, you have to have like funkiness going on. So this funkiness makes sense.
That's great. And so do you just keep that loose in your little bag, or do you tie that too sometimes?
Generally I just keep it loose, because it's not like a regular needle threader like this guy that you're
so you don't want it stuck to your scissors when you're trying to do that little.
It's just something else in the way. You know, you want to be able to manipulate it more, I think.
Yes. Yep. Like it.
That's my favorite.
Favorite is the little saver, that little thing. And honestly, that kind of is in the same vein as the Snag Nabbit, because you're trying to fix all those ends.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Cool. I like.
So what else do you have in your bag?
Well, you know, this actually is a dangerous proposition, this guy, but I do love it. But I want, like, buyer beware. Okay. So I love these things. So this is, growing up, my mom sewed, and we had seam rippers all over my house, right? But they always, do you remember the ones that you had when you were younger, and they would have that plastic lid on them, and the plastic lid always cracked. So then so then my mom would just have these like things flying around our house, and you're like stabbing yourself, and they're terrible. This thing's amazing. You sell these, don't you?
I do.
Bowen, which I just love Bowen.
Yeah, I love Bowen products. I'm scared of seam rippers, and I think it's because no one in my family ever sewed, so I don't know how to use them right, because you use them backwards from how I think it looks like you should, with that little red bubble. Does that one have the ball?
I feel like you're supposed to be using the red bubble.
Somehow I've used them backwards. I don't know. Maybe I'm a special case, but.
So, why I love this thing is Number one, because it has it has like a self enclosure, so it's not floating around your thing.
Right.
But every once in a while, you just need a seam ripper. And I again, like I always caution new stitchers because you can truly ruin your canvas. Like you can be all the way done and ready to pull something out and just go zip, because these things are really sharp.
Yeah.
So if I were going to pull something out, I would start on the back, and I would just be very careful to grab, and I'm not going to do it because I don't really want to, but I would just be very careful. Do you see how when I use it on its side? I don't want to go like this and go. So I use it on its side. I don't know if
I have a really dumb question.
Yeah.
Which part is sharp? I mean, obviously the tip is sharp, but where's
sharp in the little hole there? There's a
divot, like it's here.
It's sharp.
Okay.
It's sharp inside the.
Yeah, like here.
Like, exactly. What do you call that? Inside the thumb. What do you guys call that in Michigan? Inside the little thumb.
I'd call it a divot, but I don't know if that's right.
Yeah, so it's sharp inside there. So the problem, this thing is sharp too, but what's great about this is just like I love the tulip needles because they're sharp on the ends. They're not, even their tapestry are a little sharp, because you can really kind of grab the stitch and try really hard just to get like one stitch. I will also say a little bit goes a long way. I don't know if you've ever, I mean, I'm sure you have, but people watching, if you've ever ripped a lot of basket weave or really any,
I've never had to take anything out. I'm a perfect stitcher the first time, every time.
Sure. But you only need one or two, and then that gets it going. You know, then you can very easily, I don't use this to keep ripping. I use this to get under that stitch and rip it, and then I use the eye end of my needle to pull everything else out so that I'm not, because again, if you rip this canvas, you're in trouble because there's not a great way to fix.
Did you just say you use the eye end?
Yeah. Oh yeah, because it's really dull.
This is like an aha moment for me.
Really? Oh my God, I'm going to teach Melissa something. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because the other end is sharp, and if you're using the sharp end of your needle, you can like pierce canvas threads, you know? So I feel like, God, where's my needle? Wasn't I just using one somewhere?
Yeah, you were with all your fancy equipment. There you go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because the eye end of your needle, it also is thicker. It's like a spoon, you know, and then you can kind of like get in there, use it eye open, I guess, and just.
Interesting.
Yeah, how funny. Yeah, I always use the eye end because I feel like well, again, maybe it's because I use a lot of tulip, and I feel like the tulip are a little sharper. But even if you're like a size 24 needle user on 18, like those are pretty sharp. And if you're doing this, you're likely to, you can rip your canvas with the sharp end of your needle, and you can also like pierce the canvas threads. And so, yeah, I always use the eye because I just feel like it's safer.
Well, yay, learn something new right now.
Maybe it's also because maybe I'm clumsy. I don't know, but I just always try to protect myself from myself.
Well, see, I won't use a seam ripper. I'm scared of them. But like I said, you grew up with a mom who did a ton of sewing. So that was like just nothing to be scared of at your house. At my house, I'm like, what is this thing?
Yeah, and I mean, I think I learned how to be careful with it even in sewing, because in sewing, I mean, you're using it to obviously pull out a line of stitching, but you're still not like getting down in there because you can
Rip your fabric.
Cut your fabric just as easily as you can cut. Yeah. So anyway, I always have one of these around, and I don't know if I don't know if I only use it for stitching. I mean, for ripping. I'm trying to think if there's any other use for this guy.
They come in other really cute colors, I can tell you that.
They're super cute. In a pinch, you can also cut your thread. Like if you're like, oh, where are my scissors? They fell down the seat cushion. You can just cut your thread right in there. So just a little. Yeah, I like the purple and the teal. It also comes in like orange and pink.
I think I see an orange one over there, and there's a blue version of some sort.
You see your price tag? Because I just had this in my bag, and it doesn't have a price on it.
Shoot.
What are they like?
Oh, I thought we talked about that earlier. Maybe $8.
Again, an under $10
right
doodad.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, let's see what else I got. Well, I have three, kind of like you, I have three things that kind of go together.
Cool.
And if people have watched my unboxings, I've talked about these before, and it's really funny because I unbox lots of fabulous things. And then I unbox things like this, and people are all about them. So funny. So I have.
This was also news to me, I will tell you.
Yeah, so these, I think you all carry similar things now after talking to me about them because you love them too.
Your idea.
So I do a lot of teaching at my shop, and a lot of times people will want to make minor tweaks to their canvases, and sometimes they're just like, I don't just want to stitch over because I can't totally envision what it's going to look like. So I'll just grab this. So for instance, like maybe I might want to take Maisie out here and put, what would you put on a
2020
dog?
or something.
Yeah, I might want to put like her birth date or something, whatever. So I could take my magic pen, and this is, it's really a white corrector pen, but it has a very fine, why can't I get the camera to find it? There we go.
There you go.
A very fine tip. And I have had this is my own. I sell them in the shop. I think I've had this for like 8 years. So it doesn't dry out. Like the only thing you have to do is sometimes when you first open it, you've got to scribble it on a paper like you would with a pen just to kind of keep rolling.
Because is it kind of like a little roller ball at the top? And so it's just being,
So sometimes like when I get it, this is some packaging here. Like I just have to, do one of those numbers to get it rolling.
Yep.
And I'm not going to really use it because I don't want to change this, but it's basically like painting a pen. So I could go over here and I could cover up Maizey. So then I had all white canvas to look at. And then if I wanted to put the date in, you can pencil it in. And my most important takeaway for anyone who's watching is never, ever, 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 ever use a regular number 2 pencil. Because you and I, as shop owners, have both seen the dangers of that. It smears, it smudges. Even if you try to erase it, it doesn't really ever truly go away. And all your threads turn gray. It's a disaster. Yep. This is a special artist pencil. You can get it lots and lots of places. But it's a number 4 hard pencil, so it doesn't smear. So I can draw on my canvas.
Is it lighter than regular number 2?
I think it well, when I write on paper, yes it is, but if I draw this line here and then I do this, see how it doesn't smear at all?
It doesn't smear, yeah.
And then so if I could draw in 2020, but if you get a super high quality eraser, this is again an artist's eraser, you can erase it. So if I did 2020 and I realized, I didn't put enough space between the 2 and the 0, I could erase it and fix it. So these 2 things kind of go, actually almost these 3 things almost go hand in hand.
Yeah, no kidding. So I'm liking this. The only question I have, and I just wonder, I'm not putting you on the spot, but so let's say you use your pencil to write something in. First of all, will the pencil write over top of the white pen? Yeah. And then if a stitcher's trying to do a color, like do you grab a marker or an acrylic? Can you color, do you ever put acrylic paint or what do we use? Like Marvy markers, like the acid-free markers over top of that
You could. I haven't really done that because this is
it necessary?
Enough gray when you write with it.
Yeah.
We have a lot of canvases where my custom painter painted in grayscale because gray kind of
anything on top. Right.
I guess if you really wanted to spend that extra time, you could. I personally am a little lazy when it comes to stuff like that. If I can just get out my, dark blue thread and stitch over it.
I like the idea of that being sort of grayish because right now I'm whiting something on a canvas to fix initials and I'm kind of doing it in layers because there was black paint so that I'm doing the white. I'm using your corrector pen idea and doing that and then kind of waiting and doing another layer to get rid of all the black. And then I'm actually contemplating what do I do on top of that? Because she's using brown, I don't know. So anyway, that's why I'm asking. I'm specifically interested in that. But I think you're right. If you use your pencil and it's filling in gray enough that the white then won't come show through. Because it's always the white. It's that dandruffy look that everybody doesn't like.
Yeah. So I also have. I don't have them right here. I think Amy at Amy Bunger in Memphis. Why am I forgetting the name of her shop? Amy's Golden Strand. There we go. Yeah. She recommends those Identapens, but they're the same as any they're a zig or what's the one that starts
like Marvy is one.
Yeah, any of those that are truly acid free and truly water resistant. Don't use a Sharpie. Sharpies can still run because they're water resistant. They're not permanent. So you want permanent.
I mean, I knew not to use a Sharpie, but I never knew why.
Yeah. Like I remember sweet Kimberly Ann, who unfortunately, as we all know, is no longer around. She would say she used Sharpies all the time and it never came back to haunt her. But I've heard from other people not to use a Sharpie. So I'm a rule follower. So I just go with the other. So anyway.
Yeah, so that's great. So is that 1, 2, 3? Is the pencil, eraser?
3 that kind of go together. And the other thing that's in here. So I think I am a scissor junkie. So I showed these earlier. These are the Ginger limited edition scissors, and I'm a fool and I get them for myself every year, blah, blah, blah.
So do I. I collect them.
I know, I love them. But I'm terrible about keeping my scissors in one spot because it's probably a matter of me. If you saw all my projects from up north, like I have 9 going at a time. So when I run out of my nice scissors, I get these super snips. I think you have these too, right?
I love those. And do you want to know what I do with it? I put the little, sorry, how do I?
Yeah.
No. I put the loop of the scissor.
Yeah.
On the ring. And so I always have scissors with me.
Ah.
Because I'm the girl that I'll run out the door to go sit in the carpool line and I'll have my knitting, God, what am I saying? My stitching, my needlepoint bag is what I was trying to say.
Right.
I have scissors. So then I'll like get through and I'll be like, I'm not super, great. Like, how do I say it? Like, I don't want to be disparaging, but like, I'm not super particular, but I hate having strings in the back. It drives me crazy.
The spaghetti.
So anyway, I have those with me all the time. And those are great for planes. They're great for trips.
Yeah. So for those that don't know about them, the blade, okay, so these are your typical 3.5 inch. I think the Gingers are 3.5 inch. So these are super short. I'm trying to put them in front of me so you can see how short they are.
Yeah, I can see it.
An inch, right? And they're, I think, 650, 675, something in there.
Like that. And I always tell people they're not good for cutting a skein. Like you want to try to cut your skein. I mean, you can.
But guess what? I do it. I mean, they're not, I would much rather have higher quality scissors, but for $6, these things are awesome. And they are super sharp. They are sharp enough that I have almost cut a canvas thread with them. So they're serious scissors. Like, don't take them lightly.
Serious.
But they're great because I always figure what I always tell people is, in terms of traveling, although we're not doing a lot of that, if the TSA guy takes my Gingers, they're 40 plus, I'm going to probably want to stab him with them.
Yeah.
If he takes my $6 scissors, which he shouldn't because these are so short, they're well within TSA guidelines. But the bottom line is the TSA guy wants to take your scissors. He's going to take your scissors.
Yeah, that's right.
If he takes the $6 pair of scissors, oh well.
No harm, no foul. Yeah. Yeah. So, no, I like those.
Our favorite.
So, in the vein of scissors, so this is my last one, and that was actually a nice segue. So first of all, I have to have the gingham,
Sorry, I don't know why that made me laugh, but go ahead.
Well, because it's just nonstop. It's nonstop with me in the gingham, so I get it. But that has absolutely nothing to, well, it sort of does. So I have scissors like you, like in all my bags because, and I'm constantly losing them. They're in different, I have just random ones. I just picked this up. But I'm always sticking them, on my projects. Anyway, these are serrated. Do people say serrated or?
I think it's serrated, but I don't know.
Serrated. I will look it up and but for our purposes, the serrated scissors are what to use for your metallic. Right. So I will be honest, I don't always cut every single metallic with my serrated scissors versus my Gingers or whatever. In truth, I should, because if you've got your, as you said, nice scissors, the metallics are going to begin to dull them.
Right.
And it's just annoying to have to get them sharpened. But I keep, in defense of the gingham ribbon, to remember which ones are serrated, they're rated, I just put a big ribbon on them. So I just know which one are the serrated ones. These happen to be Premax. Yeah, Premax scissors. They're $23. They're 3.5 inch. I don't know, I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about serrated, whether there's I'm sure there's a Ginger serrated. I'm sure there's a boatload of different serrated scissors. We just happen to have these. But my point is, I always keep these around, particularly if I'm doing a project that has a lot of metallic. So if you know that your project is going to have mostly metallic, then make sure you have your serrated scissors around. But like, I mean, I'm not going to kill myself to only cut my, metallic with mine, but I just think it's a good idea. And I just like having a bow.
And I have a pair too, but unfortunately they're buried in one of my projects and I couldn't quite find them. And I would show you the pair that I have, but we don't have any on the shelf. I actually have a waiting list of 8 right now and expect to have more. So the pair that I love, I can't remember who makes, I'm embarrassed to say, but I get them through Kreinik. And
these are from Kreinik too, actually.
I think they might be the Cadillac version of those, to be honest.
Okay.
They very well could be Premax, and I don't know offhand. They're like a pewtery, like brushed silver color. And I love the ones that it's kind of like a combination of 2 things you just talked about. I love these because they have a little curved tip and they're serrated.
In there,
and
yeah.
What I should be using them for all the time is my metallics. But what I really use them for is that's what I use when I have to rip out a bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah. We also have curved scissors here in the
they're curved and they're serrated and they're super sharp and they're expensive. They're probably the most expensive scissors I sell, except for the limited edition ones. I think they're like $38 maybe. But if you're ripping stuff out, they cut things out like butter.
They're awesome. Yeah.
Should be using them for as my metallics, but I think I alluded to the fact earlier, I'm a little lazy about certain rules that.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's no reason to be too beholden to rules, but no, you just said you're a rule follower. You're not lazy about rules. I can't.
Well, but sometimes I guess when I don't fully like, I don't know. When I sit down to stitch, I just want to stitch. And if I can't find my serrated scissors, I'm not going
to run around
digging for them. I'm just going to use my other scissors and know that.
And don't you wish you had time to like really like put a project together, get all the threads, collect all of your tools and make sure you have it all nicely so that when you're ready to pick it up, but nobody has time for that. So I think what I mostly do is try to just keep a tool bag within like shooting distance of wherever I'm planning to stitch.
Well, so the other thing that I always have,
things that I need.
And I don't know if you're as big of a fan of these as I am, but are you floss away bag for everything?
It's funny. I am a floss away bag when I put the project away. So I'm a stash floss away bag girl.
Okay. So I use them for both. So here's a project that I recently finished.
Oh, smart. So you do a project on a ring, which is what you're
project on the ring. So I'm really good about what you just said, like collecting the project and putting it on bars and getting my threads all organized. Like I love that process. What I'm not good about is always having the tools at hand, because even though I have my tool bag, sometimes the tool gets left in the project bag. So that's where it fails.
Right.
But I do this when I put my projects together. So, here's my red Kreinik, here's my vineyard silk.
Yep.
And technically you can write on these. I don't write on them.
I was just going to ask you if you did that. Yeah.
No, because I'm really, I'm a huge recycler and reuse, reduce, recycle. So when this red runs out, I save the bag and I use it for whatever.
Something else. Yeah.
So I put them on this, and this project's done. So now I'm a color sorter when it comes to how you sort your threads. Some people are a type, some people are color. I'm a color sorter. So I take this ring apart, it just pops open, pull all this stuff off, and I yank all my reds, and my reds go in my little plastic storage container of all the red threads. So I use it for the storage too, but I use it for the project first.
Cool. Yeah, that's good. I wish I was more that way. I'm more of just to throw all the threads in the project bag. I feel like I'm doing good if everything's in the project bag. But then I curse myself because I'm like, the Kreinik's unspooling. Darn it. Why don't I have it in the bag?
And maybe it's back to you not loving to bead. I really keep my beads in these because every now and then the top of the bead thing can come off.
So my. Then you're in a real mess.
Are corralled.
Yeah, truth.
So I'm a big floss away. So those are always in my tool bag. Yeah. So what else you got?
I think those are kind of the major. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything else I use. Well, one thing that I always have, and I always thought it was so silly, because you remember that the beginning of my stitching was belts. Like I stitched belts and belts and belts and belts. Everybody in my life has a belt. People I don't even know have belts because I stitched for them. So I never
making a belt for me.
What?
You want to stitch my gingham belt for me?
If I had time, I would love to. But there's a really nice stitching service that I know of that would probably do.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have stitchers here at the shop too. I'd be happy to sell you that service.
No, that's okay. I'll stitch my own. I was just asking in case I needed another belt.
No, I would love to stitch you a belt, but that was before I had kids. It was before I owned a shop. It was, all those things. But anyway, I never understood the fuss over needle minders. I'll be honest. Like I was really late to the needle minder, game.
So many.
And now I have tons of them, including, but not limited to, hold on. Uh-oh, I have this all set, but I gotta get this off.
That's okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Can you see it?
Yes, I can. Can you see mine?
Yay!
Because our sweet friend Angie sent us both one.
She did. It was a little present, and then we said, well, that's brilliant. Why don't we have more made, right?
Because they're so cute. So I've had lots of people ask about them. So I know you took care of ordering them for us. So I can't wait to receive them.
We did. They are on order and we'll get those. But here's the point of my needle minder kind of bit is, sorry, why am I worrying about threading this needle? I'm being silly. Oh, I forgot I do have one other thing sitting here. I'm a mess today. Why I love needle minders so much is, and only is, if they have the really strong neodymium, I think that's how you say it, magnets, the so strong I can my.
We heard a clip, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's serious. And I didn't realize that until I got a little too far into the needle minder game. And I mean, it's fun to have minders that match and it's cute and whatever, but unless you've got these really strong magnets, it's just not worth it in my opinion. I mean, I stick everything, the Snag Nabbit, I'll be known to have a canvas that has 4 magnets, one with my scissors, one with my scissors, one with my needle, one with my laying tool, which I can talk about in a second. But yeah, so I love a good strong needle minder. So, and Kirkland Design Studio, who you were alluding to, Angie, she uses only those super strong magnets. So I've become highly addicted to hers. In fact, I think that's the only ones I've got. One of her.
I have her monogrammed ones too.
Monogram one. We sell hers. The accoutrements magnets are awesome too. They have really strong magnets. The Big Buddies from the Meredith collection are awesome.
Those are the 3 I carry. Other than I do carry some of those plain, just the magnet part of Angie's, like plain vanilla,
We used to get
two for $5. Yeah.
We used to get these tiny little square ones. I think that we can't find these anymore, where whoever our source was for those. But we just get the little circle dots.
Yeah.
So we usually have those in stock. There's a few other vendors that I have kind of here and there, but I will tell you the first thing I ask is, do you use the neodymium? I think I'm saying that right.
Well, good for you, because I usually say, do they actually work? I didn't know the technical term, but as soon as you said it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Craft magnets are different from the super strong magnets. There's a definite difference. So yeah, I always ask before I bring in any minders like that.
So is that the same as an earth magnet?
I think that is. And in fact, it might be kind of like Kleenex, like
tissue and puffs and Kleenex, whatever, tissue.
Facial tissue and Kleenex is neodymium and earth. You know what I'm saying? I think that's.
I always ask if they're earth magnets. So I
could be wrong, but I think. But anyway, but the other thing that I have sitting here in my bag that it rolled down to the bottom and I didn't see it when I shouldn't because it's sharp is if I use a laying tool, I love the BLT. This is the BLT, which always cracked me up when I first learned about it, but the best laying tool.
So do you want a little fun fact? Whose name's on there?
Rainbow Gallery. What's the other?
I thought, and maybe I'm confused, I thought that was Shea Pendray's at one point. Is that right or not right?
I don't know who that is.
She used to have a craft show on TV. She owned...
Is that on PBS with Grosse?
It probably was. She's an older gal, although she came into my shop a couple weeks ago. Maybe I should say a couple weeks ago. It was probably right before our shutdown. And she lives in the Detroit area, and she used to have a store in Dearborn. And little did I know, she owned my shop for a short period of time.
Oh, how cool.
But I think that's her, her original BLT that she created.
You know who would know, and it just popped into my head? Sally London would know.
Of course she would. Sally knows everything.
Gallery. We have got to get Sally London on the podcast.
Yeah, she's my gal there.
That would be fun. Anyway, so I get these from Rainbow Gallery, which is why we say Sally. Sally's at Rainbow Gallery. And she would surely know the story of BLT. But I love this thing. I know I don't want to go down a rabbit hole because we really should do an entire episode about Lang tools, because I think it's kind of this
because Tony Maneri would be proud of us.
Does Tony love Lang tools?
He won't even let you in a room if you don't own one. I mean, I'm being a little facetious, but yeah, he's a huge fan of Lang tool.
And you know, I think that we our customer base is like probably, I don't know if it's half and half. Half the people regularly use Lang tools, and the other half either haven't ever heard of one or don't want to use one or just use a needle or whatever. But I like it for a lot of reasons. But why I love this is because it is magnetic. So as
nice, yep, onto your magnetic goes.
To my, and it's I don't know what I like about it the most. I think it has weight, so I hold it kind of. I hold it like this, and it kind of like it just sort of sits in that little cradle of my hand.
So let's back up for a second, because I think it's important for any newer stitchers to be like, what is that and why would I have it? And I think it's fair to say, if you're not a ribbon user and you're not a stranded thread user, you probably don't need a Lang tool. Do you think that's an accurate statement? I think that's
right. Although we have people who use it for any of the ribbon style threads. So like some people use it for some people use it for Neon Rays Plus or Fireworks or any of those. It's 1/16 Kreinik.
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
Huh?
I hadn't thought about those kind of
Some
threads.
people do. I am not that fancy. I guess maybe
I manipulate those kind of threads just with my fingers. Like, to me, that's my rationalization for getting a decent manicure. Because with like Neon Rays Plus and Kreinik, if you fuddle with it enough with your fingers, you can make them lay flat over your canvas threads. But a little harder to do with stranded thread.
So I'm going to do this for a second. I don't know. How does that work? Does that work okay?
Yeah.
See it at all what I'm doing?
Yep.
So the reason to use this is when you're using stranded threads. So I'm using 3 strands of Planet Earth silk. And I'm doing, I don't know if you can even see this very well.
Yep.
I am doing a giant brick stitch. And so can you see that? I kind of just, I'm not probably as well trained as some others, but I use it to just make sure that my thread is going to lay smoothly. And if you see, brick stitch looks to me way different in a stranded thread. I don't know if you can get it. Is that focusing at all?
Yes, except for it's focusing on the part you haven't stitched.
Oh, move this way. Go. Oh, sorry. But anyway, so I'm always amazed at the difference between what using a Lang tool and stranded threads does to a stitch versus just using, like, if I were using pepper pot or vineyard silk or any number of other 1-strand threads for brick stitch. So
it makes them lay down side by side, right?
Pardon me?
Makes them lay down side by side like nice little nails.
Yeah, it kind of lays them nice and soft, and it gives a very smooth and kind of more manicured. We've talked about manicures a lot. Appearance. I just think it's kind of cool, and it's not scary. At first, I was like, "Oh, I can't use a Lang tool." It comes after you use it a few times. It comes very naturally. When I can't find this, I just grab usually a size 20 needle works okay, I think too. Again, I use the eye end because evidently I'm crazy and I use my needles wrong.
Great, that's great.
But yeah, so that's another thing that I have at hand. But just like the serrated scissors, it only makes an appearance when I'm doing a project that really requires it. I mean, well, and I guess same with all these tools, to be frank. I mean, you alluded to that at the beginning of this. I think you're right, a lot of us can't do good carpentry work just because we don't have, number one, maybe the skills, but number two, we don't have all the right stuff. You have to have the right stuff to do a good job with what you're doing. So. Well,
and to take the frustration out, this is all supposed to be fun. So if it's not,
and what's always, how do they say that? What's good for the goose is not always good for the gander. So maybe other people like different kinds of Lang tools. Other people are like, I hate those silicone things. Other people, this is just what works for me and what I find to be useful.
Well, I have I have one of other kind of, what do I want to say, subject area. So I know you know this about me. And it's really funny because when I was younger, I never told anyone that I was almost blind in one eye because I
Oh
felt
my God, yes.
really like that was so weird. And when I was in elementary school and middle school, I didn't want anyone to know. But so
you need to say that again because I think I've mentioned this before. Melissa is blind, almost blind, or completely blind in one eye.
I'm considered legally blind in my right eye. Like I have no peripheral vision. I can't tell you which way the E points on the board at the doctor's office. I just
unbelievable to me that you are such a beautiful stitcher and do such fine work. And you,
well, the bonus for me is I've never known anything different. You know,
sure.
I was born that way, so it's like whatever. You know, two eyes would probably throw me for a major curveball if it suddenly came back. You know, so all of that, I take very, very good care of my one eye. So most people that I've had come in that are older, I shouldn't say older, but I have many people come in and say,
like your age.
Stitch. Yeah, exactly. I can't stitch. You know, I don't see well enough anymore. And I always say better light, better glasses. And most eye doctors, and I have two very good clients, customers that are eye doctors, they will tell you the better light is the first way to go.
Oh boy, here we go. Everybody get ready. Melissa's going to
so again. First of all, no,
you know, I'm just giving you trouble. You're exactly right. And you forced me to buy one too. So
we're going to start with glasses.
Okay.
Glasses, if you already wear reading glasses, like let's say you wear a 2.0-ish or whatever, you'll want to go up 0.5 to stitch with. And that's what eye doctors have told me. So like these are these are 1.5. So if you are like just starting to need reading glasses and you wear ones to like read the medicine bottles with, you might want to buy yourself a pair of 1.5s. So go up 0.5 from your regular thing just to use for stitching. Don't use them for anything else, just for your stitching because it's such a fine thing. So I've been told that. I also, and I think I brought you a pair when we were up north.
Vacation.
Yes. Yeah. So these are my shades, but they actually have bifocals in them, which you can barely see. So in the days of yore, I used to put on these glasses and put my sunglasses on and stack these on and completely embarrass my kids at the pool. So now I wear these at the pool. So
my kids aren't old enough to be embarrassed yet, but do you remember what I looked like earlier?
Yeah, you're gonna get there soon, sweetheart. So that's kind of my mystery thing that people don't know about.
Yeah, that's cool. I did not know that. I really didn't.
And then for lights are all over the place. And yes, you were teasing me about my Stella, so I will talk about those because that's the Cadillac. But not all of us want to invest in the Cadillac. So I think you have a lot of these lights. So this one is a touch lamp, and it has a nice little goose neck on it, and it has 14 LED lights. Yeah, 14 LED lights. And this is battery powered, and the battery lasts forever. But
USB powered?
It's USB and battery.
I'm going to run away 1 second. Hold on.
Yeah, but it goes with the other one too, because I know where you're going to go with it.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so this one is battery powered, and I love this light, but the battery, you know, back to reduce, recycle, whatever, batteries aren't really 2020, but.
So that's for if you're sitting at a table, because that's a tabletop little light, right?
Right. So it stands on the table. I've used this on multiple airplanes, whatever. This is great.
Oh, on the tray table, yeah.
Yeah, because the battery never dies, lasts forever. And that was before you clued me in about how to solve this other problem, but we'll get to that. So then I also have this lamp, which will clip onto the frame. So this little part, it can stand, but it clips onto your frame. So
yeah, we sell that too.
Yeah. Yep. So I love this, but what I don't like, and this one is rechargeable, or it has a plug to a USB, I think. It's rechargeable, which I love because there's no cord, it clips on, it's great. But I think it only stays charged for like 2 or 3 hours. So like we do our Stitch Club Detroit, and by the end of the night, it's like, boop. But then you help solve that problem. So I don't know if you have that little doohickey handy. Do you have yours?
Can I get it? Do you have one? Can you reach yours?
Right here. Oh, you know what? I have one in my bag because I'm so smart.
Good for you. I should. So not too long ago, so you all probably know that I had a life before, well, a career, I guess I will say, before the Needlepoint shop. Wasn't a life, I didn't need to say that.
Keep talking. I'm going to be the runner today.
Okay. But I worked for a university, and I worked in universities for 15 years, and then I bought the shop, whatever. But I made this great guy friend at the most recent university that I worked for, and he is super clever, super smart, very techie, and he started this company called Busa. Busa is basically just an on-the-go charger. Yep, show them so it's got 2 ports, 2 USB ports, and it's got let me think about this. The middle port is for
to the wall to charge it, right?
I thought that was on the side.
Oh, sorry. Yep, there it is. So what's that one for?
I think about this for a minute. Oh, like if you wanted to plug in your computer or your iPad or right? So like your computer could be plugged.
You charge your phone.
That's how dorky we are. We don't even have this together. Yeah.
And then this is how you.
The light has a different little boop thing. Yeah. Okay. So you can get these at Walmart. You can get these at Target, at Amazon, blah blah blah. But what I love about this one is it's and I know you're not a local St. Louisan, but it's my pal here in St. Louis. It's his company, and so
little guy.
I'm sorry.
Supporting a little guy, not so.
Yeah, and a really nice guy. He's 2 kids, high school kids, and just a really nice guy. And he started this company. And I haven't talked to him recently. I hope he's still sourcing them. But we have several on the shelf here. But we partner sell these items. So the 2 lights that Melissa just showed. We always suggest if you don't have a charger, or excuse me, a battery. Oh my gosh, battery. Then we suggest getting that. And like I said, you can get them anywhere, but we find these to work really well. I know some have better reviews than others. And anyway, so we love it. And so then I put him in touch with, I don't know, a handful of other shop owners. And if anybody else is interested, I'd be happy to help you meet Chris. But so I think 4 or 5 of us are carrying these in our shops now. So.
Well, the nice thing, we used them when we all could have lives and went to like Stitch Club. Stitch Club Detroit, we went to this little local bar by us.
Yep.
And with the dual ports, I'd have my lamp plugged in, my phone plugged in, so I could look up stitches and,
Yep. So. That's another thing I love about it. It has the 2 ports, so it's great. You said something else. Oh, we actually use them here in the shop too. I buy these little task lights from IKEA. And they're great little task lights that we use here in the shop. I don't think they're quite as bright. I probably, frankly, should just open up some of those tabletop lights that you were just selling and use those here. I just thought it was an idea to have them here and use them. So anyway, so the point is we use them here in the shop to run USB operated lights. So.
But I think they're amazing lights. So this one is the one that's battery powered is $24.
Yeah, they're really reasonably priced.
Yeah. So these are great on the go. Great if you don't have a huge budget. Can't find a price tag. I want to say this one's like $32. I feel like this
right around that. Mm-hmm. Because I think with the Busa, they're both. It's like, isn't the Busa like $30 or something?
The Busa I have 32 at my end. Yeah. You don't have to pay for shipping, so yours might be a little less.
Something, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, mine get hand delivered, but. Right. So I want to say it's like under $75 to have the portable light and the battery packed together. So, yeah.
And then if, you are blind in one eye or afraid you're going to become blind by stitching so much, or
you're just kind of sassy and you have your whole setup in your living room like I do.
I love my Stella lights. So we have the floor version, which I think I show off quite often. And
that's the one I have at home.
This thing bends every which way. It can get super tall. It can go low enough to be like right over my work right here. But if you are working at a couch that's taller or whatever, like it expands. You can make this like 6 feet tall. Like it gets super tall. And then there's also the task one. I have to say, I usually tell people like, yes, I sell this one. I sell it in white and black. It goes on a table. It is less expensive. The floor version's a lot more expensive. The quality of the light's the same, but the difference is with this one, your light's coming from the side. Where with this one, you're
from above.
So like my customers had this, and she kept noticing that the left-hand side of her work was great, and the right-hand side of her work, she was missing stitches.
Really? That's so funny.
Because of how she was set up. So she ended up taking this one up to her mom's house, where she spent a lot of time because she was taking care of her mother, and then getting a floor lamp for herself at home. So they are, Stella's still honoring that whole deal that we're having at the beginning of the year through the end of 2020 now. So I can sell those to people for a drastic discount. It's 10% off and free drop ship. So that's still going on through the end of the year. So.
And I can sell them too, but it's really Melissa's thing, so I just let her do that.
I mean, so
somebody says I want to Stella, I'm like, call Melissa MacLeod. She's all over it.
I think they must love them, because and everyone who gets them raves about them. It's not like they're like, oh God, I fell into this like sucker sale. I mean, I had
they're great lights.
I had a gal who bought one call me this week, and she bought 2 more. I don't know what she's doing with them all, because they're weight enough you can carry them all around your house. Like, I don't really understand why she needs 3, but for
treat yourself, girl. She's treating herself.
I know. So it's yay. But that's how good that she would do.
What I have, so I went ahead and I did the Stella light too, just mostly by your recommendation. But so I have one. But the other thing that I have in my living room, my husband like seriously thinks I'm crazy, but it's like an operating room in our living room. But when we actually have guests, which we haven't for so long, I actually put things away. But
stash them, right?
What?
You stash things when people come over, but they're very stashable because they're movable.
So what I love and what I couldn't live without. So I have to say, we have another light that we sell here that I love. That's a floor light that works well for me too. But what I could not live without is this floor stand. And I don't know, again, if you guys are going to be able to get a very good look at this.
Well, you can pick it up because it's so lightweight.
Well, yeah, it is. It's the System 4. It's the exclusive stand that we sell because we just love it so much.
We're the same way. It's the only one we sell as well.
There's a lot of people out there who sell multiples in their store, or they have people that like different ones, but I just don't mess with it because we've had no trouble at all with these. So I have this, this is called the Travel Mate, and it folds down, which is why I like it for my house, because it can fold down and slide underneath the sofa, or it can fold down and go under a bed or whatever. But it's also travelable. And do you know what I haven't bought yet? And I need to call them, but I just haven't had time. They're selling the bags now, the travel bag. Did you buy some yet?
I did not, mainly because no one's traveling right now, but it's on the list for when the world opens up, because they started selling those just about the time that everyone started staying home. So.
But I think it would be nice even just to have it like to take when, when you go up north or whatever, just to, But so these are not cheap dates. So you buy, what's cool about them is you buy the stand part. There's also a tabletop, which I own, but I don't use it near as much as I use the
Guess what? I use my lap stand all the time. And don't use the floor stand as much.
Yeah, it's funny.
But I like to sit at a table. That's why.
See, I'm not a table sitter. I'm sorry, like I'm trying to rearrange here, but I don't know why. I just feel more in control or something when it's on the floor. I don't know. I just really like it. So you buy this clamp, and then you buy either the floor or the lap or both, and then you can transfer the clamp. Again, some people treat themselves to a couple clamps so that they don't have to move.
But the clamp's the expensive part, really. I mean, it's all expensive, but the clamp is more expensive than the rest of it. So if you can share the clamp between the lap stand and the floor stand, it's a substantial saving.
Exactly. The beauty of this is this clamp is amazing. It's really tight. And they stand by it too. So if it loosens up, you just send it back to them and they'll tighten it up and fix it up for you. But what's
the beauty of both System 4 and Stella is their customer service, and they realize that this is an investment in our stitching, and they stand behind it.
I agree, and they're easy to reach, and they're just really nice. I think after you own a Stella, can't you? I mean, we can reach out to them for you, but isn't there just a customer line that you can call if you have trouble with? Yeah. So, I sometimes forget what it's like to be a customer and not anyway. So I love this thing because it's like if you want to bury your thread, you can flip it around. You can adjust it up and down like this.
And you can use it where it's in front of you or where it's on the side of you, depending on how your setup is.
It tips this way, it tips this way. And you're right, like you could set it like this and just
Flip that way.
Move your this way. I've even like in a precarious like situation, I've even like done it on the corner. Like if there's something I'm like trying to, you know, that I feel like I just need to, and you know, so I was telling someone the other day, she was like, I don't do French knots. And I'm like, well, do you use a frame? And this is the reason to use a frame, is if you're trying to do stitches, if you're trying to learn new stitches, because you want to have both hands available. So we are a no judgment stitching zone here. So you don't have to use stitches. You don't have to use fancy thread. You don't have to do anything, but there are sometimes reasons why to do some things.
Well, and when I saw you up north the second day, I proved why maybe sometimes it's appropriate to have your stuff on a frame. Because remember when I said,
yeah.
So what I'm alluding to is I told Megan, I haven't been stitching on a frame and it's all been great, but then I did a whole section of French knots. Did the French knots on top.
That you stabbed your leg.
And I had like a circle of like little red polka dots that lasted, it only lasted like 2 or 3 days, but I'm like, oh, I guess that's what,
into her leg.
Sometimes you really should make the effort to put it on a frame. But
it worked. I'm impressed that you were able to do French knots, like balancing your canvas and using both hands. You're a lot more talented.
And your thigh.
Yeah, evidently you also used your leg to do your French knots. So.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So
I think I've covered most of my favorite things. I'm just double checking my list. Yeah, I think those are kind of some of my wins. So I've learned a lot from you today. I know that.
Well, I've learned a lot from you too. I always learn a lot from you, and we should. I hope people find this interesting. I think, you know, we didn't really discuss this. Maybe we should do like a special. Like if you call me, I can gather up my things and put them all in my bag. Or
the little stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know our bigger stuff. I know Stella will drop ship. And did you tell me that System 4
doesn't usually, but in the normal, just I think because of, I don't know why.
World right now, I think that they.
But because of the state of the world, they were happy to do it during when I was here by myself. So I can give them a call. I probably should have done that. I'm sorry. Our shop.
I think they will, though. I think they will.
But yeah, I could give her a call and just let her know that we would be calling her for some orders. And yeah, so as per usual, we are open. We try really hard to work on our communication and be sure to watch our emails and our DMs and our whatever, FMs and PMs. And
well, so we're just getting, where did I put mine? I lost it. We are both just about to get our pointing it out needle minder.
Yeah.
So I think that we should both put together, like you were saying, a little kit of like our favorite tools, and you know, just the inexpensive ones. And no one's been able to purchase these pointing it out, so maybe we should save them exclusively for our little kits.
That's an idea for a while. Yeah.
Let's do that for a little bit.
I like that. Yeah. Maybe, what are we? Maybe for the month of August or so. What, are we almost in August? Oh my God.
Yeah. So as soon as we get the magnets, let's do it.
Yeah. And so be sure to be following us on Instagram. Following us, we didn't do what we were supposed to be doing at the beginning, is encouraging everyone to subscribe.
Yes.
So when you go to YouTube, there's a button that says subscribe to the podcast. It's not hard. And I think the only thing you're going to get is an email that says that we have posted a video. And so you will begin to get the messages when we post the podcast.
But that helps other stitchers find us. Like, because those who know about us, but those other stitchers don't. So then if they go onto YouTube and search stitching or needlepoint or whatever keyword they choose, then our podcast will pop up, but only if we have enough subscribers. So it would be, that's why it really helps us. And I don't know if I've done a very good job of making that clear. So thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. My employees, I said to, hey, have you subscribed to the podcast? And one of my employees, who's really tech savvy, was like, no, why would I do that? And I was like, goofball, because she's like, I just go and I find your podcast every week, and I'm like, subscribe for me, would you? So yeah, I think it's
share the love.
That's exactly right. So I don't think I have anything else to share.
I think we're
it's starting to get dark here. How long have we probably been on here? Way too
I'm a little scared. So we'll see. We'll probably have average viewership 15 minutes.
Sorry, guys, but I hope you found this useful. And as always, happy stitching. And we'll be back with you soon in another week, right?
Yeah, I have my guest planned for next Saturday. So
ooh, I'm excited.
You know soon. So, okay. Good to see you, my dear. See you soon.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.